All right, it's a QC Auto for job 33806. This is Union Ridge Estates in Redmond. This is asphalt job done by Corey on June 3rd through the 7th. So 2.5 to 3 inches deep, and it is a huge property. Basically, that's the giant map of all the streets and all the green and stuff we did. So there's no way I'm going to catch everything. I already went and looked through everything. I'm in the very back corner in the cul-de-sac now, just catching some stuff on my way out. So I'm not going to take the video to every single piece, but I'll hit a couple of them. So this is the back cul-de-sac. I know we had some issues with the mix temps out here, and I do see some kind of some evidence that seems to be sort of an interesting issue with the mix itself, and I'll show you that in a second. It just seems like in some spots that it was stretching. I know Corey mentioned that it was cold and it kind of seemed like it fell apart, and I see evidence of that. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but from that angle you can kind of see, like right in here there's a bunch of stretch marks, and I'll show you up by my truck on the same thing. All in all, really impressed with this entire job on all the transitions to existing. Bunch of patches on the road, drove them all with my truck, and every time I rolled up onto one, there was only maybe 1 or 2 that had a slight bump to them, but a lot of them were really smooth transitions. So nice job on that. In this cul-de-sac, there is 2 areas where we had to sit down and take off of existing, and this is one, and you can kind of see that line that's there. So I think we do have some fines up on top of the existing edge instead of finding that edge. So we really got to make sure we find that edge good before we tie in, because there are just a little bit of existing rocks up on the top, and you can tell how they're getting smashed in. It is really smooth though, so this is a spot where you can kind of see how the aggregate just looks kind of stretched apart, kind of pulled apart. You can see there's lots of big voids in it, and you'll see that here and there throughout this project. Right here by my truck, this is one I stopped right here because I can kind of see it from my truck, just how it looks stretched apart. And like there's areas where there's really big voids and pockets in it. All in all, it drives good, it looks good. The one thing I would say that we could just really take it to the next level would be on raking on the edge, on the gravel edges. Some of it looks pretty straight and compacted in, which looks really nice, but I can tell it wasn't really hit with the rake and straightened out. And so when you get up to areas, and this is the exact same on the other cul-de-sac especially, are right around these edges, like if we were to chop that with the rake and pull it back and kind of tighten this angle up around here, it would really just make this thing that much more crisp. So I think we need to do that with our rakers on the outside edge, is get them 45 tamping it and trying to cut it down as straight and flowing as we can. The areas that we did that look really nice, and it really sticks out where we didn't. It does look like we had a little low spot here. We had to put some material back in. There's a little bit on top that didn't quite get blended in all the way, but unless you do asphalt, wouldn't have been noticed. All right, I'm gonna attempt to, I might end the video if this is seeming like too long, but I'm gonna attempt to go to a couple more locations real quick. Okay, got 2 striping areas. We did all these speed bumps and they look really good. You can tell we taped all of them. We didn't just spray them, and very apparent. They just look super crisp, so nice job. All of them that I rolled over look really good. There's another one way down there at the end of that road. Here's one of the few patches that did have a little bit of lines in it, and there's kind of a dip right here on this edge, just a slight one. There's gravel here luckily, so all the water should roll off and nothing should get trapped there, but I could tell something got stuck and we have a little line in it, and this is one of the only spots where I've seen anything in the mat. So I'm gonna go up and I'm gonna smash down to the end one and show the end one, the biggest patch coming up into the property, and it looks really good. So again, there's a ton of patches here. This was a long one right ahead of us, you can see, and it looks excellent. And then down that road, there is one more cul-de-sac. It looks really good, and a full intersection. It's really, really smooth transitions. Good tie-in at the water valve up there too. But just rolling over, 22 miles an hour over our patches, like, you can hear it a little bit, but that's it. You don't really feel much of anything rolling onto these. Another little patch. Really smooth. Okay, coming down here. This is the long one. I'm gonna show most of it in my truck, and then I'll get out and show the rest. But it starts right here. Transition on, smooth. There is a little bit of ripple, but these edges look really nice, and it really makes the job look good. And a couple spots where we just wobbled that little bit, you can totally see it. So, big patch coming up in. There's the entrance to the neighborhood down there with the striped speed bump that car just smashed over. But this pave looks really good. There is one bit of existing right here, existing asphalt that looks like we ground down and paved back at a slightly different elevation, so it's sticking up a little bit. But that is out on that gravel edge, and it does seem to be wider than the road, like where the old existing just happened to bump out. But again, these seams, or all these transition points, are just really smooth, and it goes a long way with rolling on this with your vehicle. This section has the best mat of any of the others. I want to see if there was a temperature change on this bottom area that we did, because it seems to have the least amount of those voids in them, and there's a little bit of stretching, but not a ton like the other area. And on this edge, again, if we were to just tamp that edge with the rake, it would look so much tighter. You can tell where we were milled down below, and there was a nice edge to butt up against, and that looks really nice. But these areas where we just came over the top and rolled them in, although smooth, and the gravel will roll up fine, and you know, it's eventually going to be fine, but it'll just tighten it up that much more. All in all though, this rolls and looks really great. You know, here's one section inside the driveway. Clearly we tamped that edge nice and smooth and straight on the top. And the patch continues all the way up. All right, that's it.